In today's video, we are going to discuss how you can get started on creating an unstoppable brand, whether it's a personal brand for your own purposes or if it's an actual business brand. So let's go ahead and jump right in. In today's video, I have created this specifically for entrepreneurs or personal brands who actually have a business. You can take any of these tips and you can apply it whether or not you have a business, but this is exactly who I'm talking about, are the entrepreneurs who are growing a personal brand, aka they're gonna try to monetize it, or at least they have some type of product or service that they're monetizing in the end. So the first tip, the first thing that I want you to do is do an actual brand audit. What does that mean? I mean, I want you to actually go through everything that you've ever posted on social media or on the interwebs and look through all of it to see what does your brand currently look like? If somebody has never met you and they wanted to find out some more about you and they got your name and they looked you up, what is it that they're gonna find? Is it maybe a 10-year-old YouTube channel, something that you created, when you were 12 years old? Is that what's surfacing? Is it your LinkedIn profile? Is it a website that maybe you created and you've got your bio page or you used to be the founder of so many years ago? Is that what's surfacing? There's a lot of different things that can surface, and I want you to do an audit and figure out what do you need to delete and what do you want to keep. Because as you're going forward, I want you to consider you need to have like a lot of clarity around what somebody is going to discover about you once they look you up. And most importantly, I want you to figure out who is the person it is that you're talking to. Who are you speaking to? What are they doing? What do they care about? Because that's what's going to help really define and shape, tip number 2, your personality once you are creating that brand. And I say create the brand, you already have a personal brand and you're not being somebody that you're not. So as you're creating your personality, I don't mean it in a way that you want to be somebody that you're not, because that is a really big tip that I know it's kind of like, duh, Aaliyah, I get it, I understand it, why would I want to be somebody else? But it's something that we all do for some reason. We find brands, people, things that we really like, and then we just try to copy and emulate that person, because in our head, which makes sense, you think, okay, if this person is so successful and they're doing this, 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 and this, and they're talking about this, this, and this, I'm gonna do the exact same thing and I'm gonna get the equal success that person has gotten. But that is so far from the truth. Somebody out there is already doing that, okay? Somebody already has that brand. Somebody already has that personality. Don't just be a copycat version of somebody else. I'm not saying you can't be inspired and you can't, take other people's content and appreciate it and consume it, but I want you to take it, I want you to digest it, and then you can actually add your own experience, your own stories, your own skill sets, the things that you do that is so you, or the way that you do it, or the way that you deliver it, and then you can actually create content that really speaks to you and develops your personality and has your personality in it. All right, and tip number 3 is I want you to create and curate your photos and videos that are out there on the interwebs, okay? So think about who it is, what is your personality, what is it that you want people to think about you, who is your audience that you're talking to. Those are all the other tips that we already touched on. And now I want you to figure out, what is my image gonna look like? What are my videos gonna look like? What are my photos gonna look like? Because that's the visuals that people see. So if I were talking about an actual business brand, we would be talking about logos. We'd be talking about, colors and fonts and all of that stuff. But let's take the visuals and apply it to ourselves when we're really growing and we're really building our personal brand. And that's our photos, our headshots, our lifestyle images, the photos that you post on Instagram, the stuff that's going up on YouTube, the videos that you're creating for YouTube, for LinkedIn, for Facebook. What do all of those things look like? I'm not just talking about if you're outdoors in your pretty little dress. I'm also talking about, how about the quality of it? Are you using your phone to capture these photos and videos? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it speaks to a different type of brand. Or is it a high-end professional quality in terms of, high-res images that you can tell were shot by a professional, whether that's photos and videos. And I'm not judging one or the other, but Those brands speak to different audiences and they have different brands to them. However, there are lots of ways that you can actually do a lot of the DIY, aka the iPhone photos and videos, and really give it a professional polish and feel to it, which we'll talk about in some later videos. So when it comes to curating your photos and your videos, I want you to have a strategy, and I want you to have an end goal, and I want you to be working backwards. Okay, so if you know you want to be the person that brands themselves with animals, for example, if that has anything to do with your business, then you want to make sure that you're incorporating those props, those animals, into a lot of your content, to your photos and videos, so people are already associating you with that thing, right? Whatever your thing is, because you worked backwards. You have a strategy in place on, here's my end goal, this is where I need to end up, this is how people need to see me as the person who does this thing, and then you can work backwards to make sure that all of those things are incorporated somehow in your photos and in your videos. All right, and tip number 4, I want you to start publishing pillar content. What do I mean by that? I mean, I want you to choose 3 to 5 buckets of content subjects or topics that you're going to create content around. And why it's important to, number 1, publish content, and more specifically have actual buckets of content that you're publishing around, is because you are growing a brand. You need to be more mindful in what it is that you're producing. You don't want to just be all willy-nilly creating anything that just pops in your head that day. You want to make sure that you have your audience in mind, that if they're going to subscribe to your YouTube, or they're going to follow you on Instagram, or read your blog, or subscribe to your newsletter, they know what to expect from you. Because if one day you're talking about, here's the healthy foods to eat to be able to, grow your family in the most healthy way, and then the next day you're talking about, here's how to build a bicycle, the person might think, what the heck is this? I didn't subscribe to this. This isn't why I'm tuning into this person or consuming their content. And then they're done, they're off, and they feel like you kind of, you weren't really honest in who you were and why they wanted to subscribe to you. Honesty might be kind of a big jump there, but there are things that happen on a subliminal level of why you tune in and why you trust somebody. So for example, Peter McKinnon, he creates content for photographers, videographers, or anybody who's enthusiastic about either of those 2 subjects. But if all of a sudden he started creating content around how to make bread pudding, or how to create a healthy salad, I'm going to tell you right now, as much as I love Peter, I would not tune into that, because that's not why I subscribe to him, and it's not why I consume his content. He's very mindful in terms of how he's producing his content and what it is that he's teaching around, because he understands he's producing everything with his audience in mind. So that's what I want you to do. Pick 3 to 5 buckets, pillars, that you will create all of your content around, whether that is content, blog content, written content, audio, podcast content, or video content. So tip number 5 is something that we kind of touched on, but I want to get a little bit more in. And that is, what's your brand tone? Okay, so what I mean by tone, example, my brand tone is I like to talk fast, and I like to use my hands when I talk, and I have a lot of energy when I'm on the camera or even in person about anything that I'm enthusiastic and excited about. Okay, somebody else's brand tone could be that maybe they talk a little bit slower and a little bit more mindful of the things that are coming out of their mouth. That's your tone. That's what people can expect from you. Something else that you can consider in terms of your tone is maybe your clothing. How are you dressed? What is the first impression that somebody's going to get from you when they tune into your content? Whether it's photos, videos, written content, it doesn't matter. In my written content, you're going to see there's a lot of metaphors, because I love to use metaphors when I explain things. I want you to be mindful of that as you are really building out your personal brand. And a lot of that comes down to letting your personality shine. Like, don't let that stuff go. Don't just say, okay, I'm going to be vanilla. I want to make sure to appease everybody who could possibly stumble upon my content. You don't want to do that. If you're not pushing away just as many people as you are attracting, then I want you to really reconsider what it is you're doing and really be a little more thoughtful and mindful about your branding, your personal branding. Because any good brand, whether that's Nike, whether that's Apple, whether that's Peter McKinnon, they are going to push away certain people and attract other people. And that's all done in their style, in what they want to show off, and all that stuff. So I want you to consider that. What is your brand tone? And then document that. Write that down and try to stick to it. Don't one day be all excited and happy and, like I am right now, and then the next day just kind of, get on video and you're somebody completely different. People are going to think that you have like split personality or something. Stick to a specific brand tone and try to carry that through all of your branding messaging. All right, tip number 6 is, what is your rally cry? What's your mission statement? What is that thing that your audience expects you to stick up for or stand up for once it comes into the current events, or when it comes to the content that you're producing? I want you to think about the thing that matters or means so much to you and incorporate that into your personal brand. Why is this important? Because in today's day and age, you cannot just be an expert on an educational topic. You also have to be thinking about, how do I create a community of people that are like-minded and who care about these things, whatever these things are, whatever your mission statement is, right? And it should be connected to something that your audience is going to also care about, but more importantly, it needs to resonate with you. It needs to be something that you feel good about, that you could spend the rest of your life building upon and creating and helping towards. So for example, my rally cry is, I believe that entrepreneurs should be building a business that just lights them on fire. And then secondary message to that is, I want to create something that helps support women and kids who don't have the same privileges that a lot of people here in the United States have. So those are 2 things that I'm building content around, and those are my rally cry. Those are the nonprofits that I'm going to support. Those are the people that I'm going to help in any way I can around my business or creating content around, or if I were to donate anything, that's the group of people that is really close to my heart. So that's personally my rally cry. That's my mission statement, is I want to equip business owners, entrepreneurs, specifically ambitious, kind entrepreneurs, people that actually have a heart of gold and who are wanting to serve their audience and who are wanting to put some like really amazing things out in the world. And plus, there's no room for trolls, there's no room for know-it-alls, there's no room for people that have just that ugly, mean mindset. Like, get out. I don't want them in my circle. I don't want to associate with them. I don't want to create content that's going to get them fired up. I don't care for them, and I'm very mindful and I'm very intentional when I create my content to push those type of people away, so that I can specifically attract a very certain demographic, which is those kind, ambitious entrepreneurs. What's your rally cry? What's your mission statement? I want you to figure that out. I want you to write it down. And it's nothing that you have to really think too hard of. It's something that you already care about. It's stuff that you already are in love with. I want you to document that, and I want you to start putting that into your branding messaging. The next step I want you to consider is consistency. So in any brand, whether it's your personal brand or business brand, you need to be consistent in the content that you're putting out there. All right, so I don't care if it's what platform it's on or what media form it's through. Consistency is so important. So a big tip that I do for myself, and I recommend for all of my clients, whether it's in the Brand and Convert Academy or their actual headshot clients, is how do we batch content so that when you are in your element, when you feel really good and you can just get fired up, that's when I really want you to create as much content as possible. And that's what I want you to consider, is batching your content so that you can be consistent. Because when you're a business owner and you have a lot of things on your plate and you've got a busy schedule, or even you're not quite sure what type of content to create, once you have that system and once you've carved out that time, it's a matter of just getting through all of it in the easiest possible way. And also consider, don't overcommit on social media. Don't feel like you have to be in all the places all the time. So I want you to start off with, if you're not big on social media yet, just pick one platform. Don't feel like you have to be on everything, because there's a lot of ways that you can start off on one platform, get the hang of it, and then you can add another platform on. And there's ways to do it. There's systems that I teach in my Brand and Convert program where you can actually just create one time and then multi-purpose the content, right? We can re-edit the video in a way that's made for Instagram, and then edit the video in a way that's made for LinkedIn. Heck, you don't even have to edit the video. I show you different ways that you can just do the filming and then send it off to somebody else that they can do all of that work. So that's what I want you to consider, is don't overcommit on social media. Don't start a YouTube channel and then say you're going to post 5 times per week, and you're going to post on LinkedIn, and you post on Instagram, because what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure. You are teaching your audience not to trust you. You are telling them that, hey, look at me, I am over-promising and under-delivering. That's not what you want. You want to be under-promising and over-delivering. So just start with one platform if you are not used to doing anything with producing content at this stage in your personal branding journey. All right, tip number 8 is I want you to keep at it. What do I mean? I'm not talking about consistency necessarily, but I'm talking about your messaging, the thing it is that you're talking about, your buckets, right? Your mission, your mission statement, your rally cry, all that stuff. Keep at it. A lot of times, myself included, at the beginning of my journey, and even sometimes I slip up every once in a while now, is I get excited about something that's way left field from all the content that I've been producing, and then I want to start talking about it. And I'm not saying you can't or you don't want to do that, but a lot of times that happens because we start to get bored with the things that we're saying, and we feel like we're saying it again and again over and over. But by the time that you're feeling bored, or that you feel like you've done it too much, is just about the time when your audience is finally starting to grasp what it is that you're talking about and why they want to follow you and engage with your content. So don't let the fact that you feel bored with your content be the reason why you're going to completely switch your business or switch the platform that you stand on. Because a personal brand is almost kind of like a little business, because you are attracting clients, aka an audience, and you are delivering some type of product, aka your messaging or your content. So you want to make sure that you are consistent in regard to the message that you're putting out there. And just because you start to feel bored does not mean you need to be switching it all up. All right, and we talked about this a little bit as well, but I want you to actually have a system in everything you're doing when it comes to branding in general, but specifically on social media and content creation, because at the end of the day, content creation has a lot to do with your personal brand and all the stuff you're putting out there, right? So having that system, why do you want to do it? Number one, every week or once per month, whatever your schedule is, I don't want you just to walk into and say, oh, what am I doing today? What should I be doing this week? What should I be doing this month? If you have a system, it's just a matter of getting to your page of the month or of the week and saying, oh, here it is. This is what I'm filming today. This is what I'm doing on Instagram. This is what I'm doing for LinkedIn. Or this is what I'm filming and who I'm sending it off to, because somebody else is handling all of it, right? So having that system can be so powerful in creating that unstoppable personal brand, because it's not going to be stoppable because you're being consistent and you're doing it all the time because you know what you're doing. If you don't have a system yet, I suggest for you to check out the Brand and Convert program, because that's exactly what I do. Is I want to give you the systems so that you can figure out, because it's going to be different, right? There's no one size fits all. And being able to figure out what system works best for you is just so invaluable in the end, and it is going to transform the way that you feel about your brand. And last but certainly not least, I believe this is one of the most important pieces of your personal brand, and that is proof. What do I mean by proof? I mean social proof. I mean the testimonials. I mean the reviews on Google or on Yelp or on Facebook, even though we all know that nobody likes Yelp. Sorry, Yelp, but you had that one coming. So having that social proof, whether it's through written testimonials or through video, that is so powerful in your brand, because brand reputation, hello, like it is so important. What people say about you is more important than what you say about yourself. So being sure to try to curate and try to influence that as much as possible by taking those good things that people are saying and putting them on blast is amazing. And LinkedIn has an awesome way that they are actually going out of their way to get reviews from people on your personal brand, right? What do you recommend? What are the skills that this person excels in? And you can sit here and recommend people's skills, and you can give them a recommendation on maybe some type of work experience that you've had with them. On all the different platforms, there's different ways that they're actually wanting to gather those testimonials for you. So in addition to those testimonials that you are getting from other people, think about proof as your portfolio, your website, your actual marketing materials that you have out there. That is the proof that you are who you are saying you are. If I'm going to say that I'm a great headshot photographer and, somebody's like, is she a great headshot photographer? They can actually just go online, look up my website, look at my portfolio, and they can decide on their own. Okay, yes, she's an amazing headshot photographer. We want to work with her. Versus if I say I'm a great headshot photographer and I have no portfolio, or I make up excuses about how, oh, my website is in transition and I don't have it and blah, blah, blah. Or, there's some photos on my Instagram, on my Facebook. Go do the work and figure out how to find all this content to be able to prove that you want to work with me. Don't do that. Number one, you don't look like a professional if all you have are social media platforms. And number two, it's too much work for your prospective client or customer. They're not going to do all that work. Having that proof, that portfolio of your whatever it is that you do, whether it's your case studies or your testimonials or your photos or your videos or whatever that is, in one place, make it easy for your clients to look through it or your audience to look through it to decide whether or not they want to follow you, they want to engage with you in services. Just makes a world of difference. So there it is. Those are my top 10 ways of creating an unstoppable personal brand. I hope that you dive in there. I hope that there's one or two at the bare minimum that you can cling on and put into use as soon as possible. If you want more information and you want to figure out how you can start incorporating a lot of this on your own, make sure that you jump into our Brand and Convert Academy. Go to brandandconvert.com, check it out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.